Welcome back, everyone, to 1 Minute Recess, where we try and dive into WTF is going on here in Nevada and around the world. My name is Annette Magnus, and I feel like I'm going crazy this week. Maria, introduce yourself.
Oh, no, Annette. I'm Maria Teresa, your co-host, everyone. And it's a wild week for many, many reasons, but you gotta distract yourself a little, Annette, and see what's going on outside in the world.
Well, I know the astrology is wild this week. We're in Aries, and lots of things are planets apparently are doing things, and lots of shit is happening with the new moon, and Annette's rising sign is trying not to kill anybody this week. It's gonna be grand. Really great. Really feeling good about myself this week.
Yeah.
Let's distract ourselves. Let's go down the rabbit hole of viewer comments.
Yeah, let's dive right in to the comments. This is to us talking about voting as a right, not a privilege. A couple of you said, especially Andrew, lots of 8s and 0s. I'm not going to say all of those 8s. Buying a gun is in fact a right. Thank you, Andrew. We know we both have guns. We were talking about voting, not guns. We know we have guns. Thank you, sir. I love how they can't, when they can't do logic.
It's also it's not an unlimited thing, so there's that, but whatever, we're not going to go down. I don't have the patience to go down the rabbit hole with these people anymore today. I've been dealing with crazy all day. All day.
I bet. Now you're going to be in the internet.
We're literally in like silly season of like political stupidity. You have Donald Trump dressing up as Jesus and saying he thought he was a doctor. Don't fucking come at me this week, please. Because it's dumb. We live in the dumbest fucking timeline possible right now.
But
hit me with the more stupidity. With more of it.
A couple of you that said guns, I also, we just went ahead and replied to you. And by the way, all of you gun lovers, if you want to go come on and talk about your guns, and we can talk about our guns, we can talk about the rights of having guns, and you can discuss with fellow gun owners what that is. So, and I also hearted those gun comments because we are gun owners.
Here's what I want though. Okay, so I'll do you one better, gun owners, gun lovers, gun nuts, if you will. That's fine. If I've got to be on a registry and I've got to show my ID and I've got to do all the things I need to do to vote, okay?
Want to be on a gun registry?
Then I want a gun registry. I want a gun registry, friends, not just a background check. I want your gun to be registered. So, you want me to have to show an ID at a polling location? I want you to have to register your gun. How about that? How you feel now? No, we can't infringe on the Second Amendment.
No.
Oh, okay.
All the other rights can be infringed on, but not the second one. Got it. Yeah. Y'all pick and choose.
You want to come at me on voting rights? I'm going to come at you. I want your gun and my gun, and I will happily put my gun on a registry. Put your gun on a registry, then. Everybody should know that you're a law-abiding citizen and that you own a gun. Let's put it on a registry, then. Come on, motherfuckers. Let's dance.
And you know what's, as a woman and beige person who owns a gun, many of these people are always so worried they're going to be on a registry and they're going to take their guns. You know who, whenever there has been any type of intel on who owns guns, who they've gone after, hasn't been the white people, it's been the black people, it's been the brown people. Y'all get to keep your guns, but the people of color don't get to keep their guns. So don't even tell me you're scared of getting your guns taken away, because they're not. But you want to move on to a better comment from Rendezvous at Dark? Voting is a right.
No choice.
A right for American citizens only. They're trying to get rid of election fraud.
Correct.
That's simple. You let your simple minds get brainwashed by people on TV. No one's trying to get rid of elections. And you guys, ha 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 ha.
Yep. That's it. That's it.
Capitalized citizens.
Yes.
And by the way, there is no citizenship of America. It's United States citizen. United States of America. It's not American citizens.
Let's not make it. People don't know the difference.
Bro, it's no. I was gonna reply back to you, but I think that's too much logic for you, Rendezvous at Dark. But yeah, that's another great comment, Annette.
these people vote. These people vote, Maria. They don't even know the logic behind the things, but these people are the people electing Donald fucking Trump. Go on. What other stupidities in the comment? Hit me.
You are correct. It is a right for American citizens. Oh, this is from @JohnHelm706. You are correct. It is a right for American citizens. So valid proof of said citizenship should be required. What do you understand about
required you register to fucking vote. You put in your ID or your social security number. If you don't have one of those two things, you don't get to register to vote. Period. End of story.
What don't y'all understand? Serious, what the fuck do you not
The
understand?
fundamental voting. They don't. They've never done the thing, right? They've never gone out and registered a human to vote. They've never gone out and actually engaged with the election department. They've never gone and observed an election. So they don't know what they're actually talking about. That's the thing. And for those of you, oh, well, you haven't done that. Actually, literally, both of us have done every single bit of this. Every single step of the freaking process, we have done at some point in our lives. That is how we know what actually happens. So miss us with this. Continue. I'm not going to keep answering these questions. If you can't Google, if you can't look at the election department, if you can't see how a valid voter registration form works, miss me in the comments.
Yeah. Sounds like they're the brainwashed sheep. So this is actually a very good comment.
Literally, if you're gonna believe talking points from Donald fucking Trump, miss me in the comments. If you want to have an intelligent, engaging debate on something that's real, then please join us in the comments. That I'm done negotiating with these dummies.
Yep, but we're gonna end with a good comment that all y'all that brought in your hot takes managed to not read. So @Sisyphus says, when I lived in Chattanooga, in Tennessee, I assume it's in Tennessee. I don't know if there's another Chattanooga out there. When I lived in Chattanooga, you had to go down 2 miles of a ditch away from a bus stop with no real bus stop to even apply for an ID.
See? This human knows what they're talking about because this human has lived in rural America. Thank you for making sense to me.
Yes. Thank you, Sisyphus, because that is literally what we're talking about here. But yeah, that galaxy brains in the comments this week. But it only gets better from hearing it.
Maria.
I'm gonna go down.
Yeah. Is that what we're calling this? Better?
Yeah, I mean, not for our first story.
Hey, actually, really, the first story actually is a good story. So the first story actually does make me quite. Yeah. Okay, take us down that rabbit hole because I am actually very pleased about it.
So, for those of us here in Nevada, time for the local lowdown. And if you're interested in what the fuck is going on here, the first story we have is the Nevada Supreme Court upholds the interim suspension of Judge, in quotes, Michelle Fiore. They told her, no, get your ass back down. Not on a bench. Sit your ass back down at home.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Like, there's not much this week yet that has, like, truly, like, warmed my cold, dark heart. That one did. I was like, thank God, people still make sense in the state of Nevada. Our Supreme Court still makes sense in the state of Nevada. God bless.
Some things are still working well.
Every once in a blue moon, they get it right, Maria. So, another thing I'm watching this week, and it's election related, so, you all should be watching it too. We're filming on Tuesday night, April 14th. Tomorrow is the filing deadline in Nevada for both candidates and PACs. By the way, it is illegal for PACs, state PACs, to hide their money. So there was a person today, a candidate today, who's claiming there's so much dark money and PACs are hiding their money. You gotta report that money. FYI, you gotta report that money if you're a state PAC. So sorry, dipshit, you gotta report it. But for anybody who is curious about the candidates and where they're getting their money from, who they're getting their money from, where PACs are getting their money from, this is going to be the last filing deadline before the primary election on June 9th. So pay attention to the candidates and where they're getting their money. You can find it on the Nevada Secretary of State's website. There's all kinds of information. These reports are called C&E reports. It's the campaign contributions and expenditures report. And again, candidates, all statewide state candidates all the way down, and PACs, political action committees, all of them have to file these reports. So you should be paying attention to who is funding whose campaign.
But Annette, I read on Twitter, we can barely get people to actually go and see what the registration process is like, and that is where you prove citizenship. C&E reports is like PhD level work for them.
Literally, it's the easiest thing to find too. And you just go on the Nevada Secretary of State's website. Like, please just do your homework before you vote for people. That's all I'm asking. If a candidate, for instance, who's running for the Nevada Assembly has $200,000 from somewhere out of state, maybe you should look at where they're getting their money from. Maybe you should question that.
Speaking of things to question, you want to know the next? Well, this is not as wonderful, but it is wonderful that people are doing something.
Okay.
There's a proposed data center for Boulder City, but people showed up at a public meeting and the room was packed of locals questioning many things.
It was so good. I was so proud of them.
Yeah, so shout out to Boulder City for doing this. For people that haven't heard the story or don't know about it, we'll put the link in the notes. But yeah, we talked about, I think a couple episodes ago, about how NV Energy is choosing data centers over Lake Tahoe, and told Lake Tahoe to go find their energy somewhere else. But data centers great. Data centers are great.
I don't understand. Why are you upset?
And you know, one of the things, this quote that I love is, you know, they talk a lot about how many jobs it's going to bring, you know, lots of construction jobs. Same thing they said with the stadium. I think that we need to ask, is this the right use for the state of Nevada? Because yes, there is a large job creation, but once they're built, like a stadium, it's about 30 jobs.
Yeah, ain't much. And they're probably going to have to be specialty jobs.
Yes. Yeah.
Speaking of stadiums, did you happen to see? We didn't put this article in our little document, but did you happen to see what I sent you earlier this week about a stadium?
Oh yeah, about.
Oh yeah, you forgot about that one.
About the A's?
No.
Hang on.
Sunshine, light of my life.
Oh,
Hold
wait,
on.
hang on. Oh wait, it's a whole new one.
It was in our text chain with Steve Sibelius.
That's why I was like, wait, which?
Las Vegas Diamond Arena, everyone. I'll put this in the chat, but just so you can see what I'm reading from. This is some nonsense. A bold, new, iconic presence on the Strip. Las Vegas Diamond Arena is planned for the Las Vegas Strip. Global attention is already here, built for visibility, a location needing no explanation. Why the fuck can't you just use T-Mobile? The design, unmistakable. A real diamond-shaped structure built to stand out day and night. Built to become a part of the Las Vegas skyline. Built at a level few can match. Double periods. This iconic arena is designed 1,000 seats. Please. How many seats?
Why did they capitalize the U in unmistakable and the D in design? In the design is unmistakable.
I really hope somebody's just fucking with me here. Because y'all, this is crazy town. Okay. This iconic arena is designed for 21,212 seats, according to this website. Okay? Guess how many seats T-Mobile has?
How many?
20,000 seats, friends. Do you know because I put this on social media because I was rage filled when I saw this, because I was like, no, and then the real kicker here, for those who won't look at the website, they put the seal of Nevada on this website, Maria, to insinuate this is going to be built by you know who, the taxpayers of the great state of Nevada. So you know damn right well they are like hyping this shit to get ready for us to go to session next year. So I did a little research because this is what we do on stadiums because I was enraged about this. How many other hockey teams play at NBA stadiums or vice versa? Many. You want to know one of the biggest ones that does?
Oh, which one?
The Lakers and the fucking Kings in LA.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
Lakers, arguably one of the best basketball franchises in America.
Yeah.
And the Kings are like Raiders on ice, but that's fine. If those two can manage to play in the same arena, because their seasons don't really overlap, and don't come at me because I know my hockey, okay? And I know my basketball. They barely overlap in the fall and they barely overlap in the spring.
Right.
It will be fine, friends. It will be fine. They can play. They manage it in other places. So, if they can do it in other places, I don't understand why they can't do it here. Play at T-Mobile.
Why is this website terrible?
I don't know. I really hope it's just a spoof or,
I hope so.
somebody in the building trades put it together.
Luda Salvia. This website brought to you by Luda Salvia.
And no disrespect to my friends in labor.
No, a very specific person that was just named.
This website says powered by Reed R-E.
Who is that? Register manager is Michael Reed. Michael Reed, what's going on?
Friends, this is how you research things when you're like, who is involved? How much money have they given? Why should we know who is begging our Nevada legislature to build them a stadium? You got to know your opponents. You got to do your research.
Yeah, it looks like they are a local, because in their about page, it's a 702 number.
Okay. Next up,
fascinating.
According to a new study, Harry Reid International Airport is one of the best airports in the country when it comes to stress. I agree with that, actually. I think our airport is incredibly well managed and easy to navigate.
It's true. It is. As a frequent traveler, yes, it is. I concur. I agree.
So, cheers, Harry Reid International. God. At least we have a good airport.
That's Vegas's real motto. At least we have a good airport.
Like it's a low bar, right?
Yeah. Don't have good education. Don't have diversity of jobs.
Care about one strip operates. That's all we give a shit about.
Water is dubious. The airport, stress level, fantastic. It's like the F1 races. It's not for locals. That's why the airport is on a good list, because Vegas is not
anywhere else in the world. All right. Well, I feel like we have to address this before we go into the Trump of it all this week. We cannot go through this episode and not talk about Eric fucking Swalwell and Gonzalez, who both resigned from Congress. Thank God. Because they were under threat of expulsion, as they should be.
Yep.
So I have a lot to say about this particular topic, and I know you do too. Because now Gonzalez is a Republican, but unlike the Republicans, I felt like on this one, the Dems, when the shit came out, the Dems were swift to condemn it and swift to get rid of his ass. He was out of the governor's race, and he was out of Congress. No. This has not always been the case with our fellow Democrats. There was a person in the Nevada legislature for years who did this shit. And everybody knew about it, and nobody did anything about it, and they just kept becoming victim after victim after victim after victim. And then there was a second person who did it, was taken care of a little more swiftly, but unfortunately, he's been let back into society. Now it sounds like the allegations against Swalwell are, I mean, they were serious before. Now they're extra serious because there's a person who came out today who said that he drugged and raped her. Obviously, having gone through what I went through, you having gone through your stuff, we believe women here. And he's a disgusting pig who should be more than taken out of Congress. Like, there should be charges pressed against them. Now, let's talk about why women don't report these things, shall we?
Yeah.
When there is a member of a body, that is, in my case, it was a legislator. In this case, it's a sitting congressman. When those things happen, oftentimes the people it happens to feel powerless or feel like they somehow did something wrong. Or if they speak out, their careers will be ruined. After my situation happened at 19 years old, I did not speak out about it until what was it, 19, 18, 19 years later? When there was a whole investigation opened up, you had to go with me to Carson City to testify under oath about what happened, and still to this day don't like talking about it. And I still will not disclose names or how it happened or where it happened. But I did not feel empowered to even speak about it. Now, at BBP, when we were in our old job, I wouldn't let our interns or our volunteers go near this person's office. I wouldn't let any of our staff go in that office. Because I was not about to put other people in harm's way. But for me, I couldn't speak out about it because I felt like this person would come after me and ruin my career. Fast forward, you ran a pack to hold another person accountable. Do you want to talk about that and why we did that?
Yeah, no means no, Ruben. Google it. But this Swalwell issue really reminded me of that because, many people are talking about how they feel betrayed by one or the other. And when this usually happens, people are betrayed. Whether they directly victimize you or not, these people who are heinous predators then go around and put on another face and ask for people to give their time, money, and votes to put them in positions of power, but then they act fucking surprised when they get held accountable. And that case of the PAC, the reason why that PAC was created is because this person was in Congress and things came out, things that, it's one of those things of like, there were rumors forever, but no reports to speak of. But then one person spoke, another person spoke, and all of a sudden this person had to leave Congress. Said person also wanted to run for city council when they came back to Vegas. I'm sorry, what do you know about no means no? And these type of people that say, I didn't do anything wrong, or, they just want a person to be perfect. But what really sucks about this is especially when you say when there's irrefutable evidence, or even if there's not irrefutable evidence, if there's multiple people coming out with stories and you immediately say, I'm innocent, I didn't do anything wrong, these people are this, that, and the other. And then you want to be accepted back into society like you did nothing wrong, when in between there was no acceptance of what you did. There was no remorse. Many people I know in the case you're talking about, many people had said, many people, because he's brown. Many of us believed in him. Maybe he deserves, some sort of restorative justice. I'm sorry, but when for years after the fact, this person has not even said, I get it. I get why these women came out. I get what I did was wrong. I mean, when you keep on saying all I was trying to do was to, go out with women and they were playing hard to get. And it's the culture I grew up with. It's all fucking bullshit. And this is also other reasons why women don't report, because where is it going to go? What are you going to do? These people can easily come back into society and hold power again, or hold some influence all over again.
I am so, it's interesting. I've been so bothered by the Epstein files, personally, right? Because I absolutely know something happened. I absolutely know Donald Trump is involved. Like, my gut tells me that, right? Like, anybody with a fucking brain knows Donald Trump is a predator. And then on top of it, you have all these other men around him in politics. And, they keep saying, oh, well, what if Bill Clinton's in it? Okay, put him in jail. I don't care, right? Well, what if there's other Democrats? I literally don't care. If you are hurting children, go to jail. If you are hurting women, if you are hurting people, go to jail. Be held accountable. You don't get to hold power. You don't get to hold offices anymore. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. I don't care if you're Jesus Christ. Go to jail if you are hurting people. Period. I don't understand how this is kind of coming back to this. So these two are gone. Good riddance to bad rubbish. I hope they're held accountable in way harsher ways. I am glad Swalwell is out. And what's even funnier about it is, and I put this on Facebook earlier this week, I liked Swalwell. I liked him. Decent policies. Thought he was a smart guy. This was before I knew any of this, of course. Once I found out about this, I was like, bye, go to hell. I don't care.
Deuces. Yep.
I don't care who you are. Like, stop defending abusers. Stop defending predators. There is no politician on this earth that I idolize enough to say, oh, I'm going to defend him. No, if you're a predator, go to jail. Like, it's that simple. Get the hell out of here. You don't deserve to have power. Gross. And I think what makes matters worse for me is that we still have a president who you know damn right well has been a part of some shady shit just like this. And will never be held accountable. And his MAGA cult weirdos, who were the ones who started the whole Epstein thing in the beginning, the QAnon folks were the ones calling for the Epstein stuff. Now all of a sudden he's involved and they're like, oh, never mind. Right? So if the left can do it, so should the right. Because it's hypocrisy at this point. Call your people out and hold them accountable. Period. If they're a predator, get rid of them. And over it. And it's so irritating to watch it. And it as somebody who's gone through it, as somebody who has been a part of it, as somebody who had a mentor of themselves, me, look at me and say, well, if you would have told me when you were an intern, nobody would have believed you. At 19, nobody would have believed me, but now because of the Me Too movement, people believe me. What? How is that real?
Yep.
So you're telling kids, essentially, who are in politics, who are trying to make something themselves, trying to make a career in politics. Well, nobody would have believed you if you would have just suck it up. I'm so tired of it. It's disgusting. It's inappropriate. It's vile. It's dangerous.
Yep. Real fucking problem.
So anyways, good riddance to bad rubbish. Glad he's out of Congress, and I suspect there will be more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Let's move. Sorry. We could not do this week's podcast without talking about that, because I just fundamentally feel so strongly about this topic because of the shit you and I have seen and done and gone through, that I'm just like, it literally makes my brain want to explode. That this is still a conversation we have to have. And he thought he was never going to be held accountable. He thought he was above all this. None of you are above accountability at this point. We will find a way to find you out. I promise you. Gross. Okay. All right, let's get into Donald Trump. Speaking of predators, we will move on to what the fuck is happening in the world, Maria, because there's a lot. So, the headline, again, today is Tuesday, April 14th. The headline on CNN, the main page of CNN right now is, Republicans have a big 2026 problem. You think?
Wow. Yeah. Jesus, literally.
So apparently this week, Donald Trump thinks he's Jesus, but he really thought he was a doctor, or he really thought he was a Red Cross worker. He wasn't quite sure what the AI slot had made, but he did in fact post it, he says.
Yeah. Thought I was a doctor.
Did you see the interview? They did some interviews with some like Trump supporters this week.
Yep.
And they were like, well, what do you think about this? And of course, the Trumpers were like, well, this is the most horrible thing he's ever done. I'm like, this is the most horrible. This is the thing that you think is the most horrible. The AI slop of him pretending to be Jesus. That's your lie. Okay.
Yeah, this is it. This is
not killing innocent people in Iran.
No, that's fine.
not killing innocent people in the streets of the United States, not
No, it's
locking
okay.
up, undocumented people and children.
Nope, they would do that themselves.
This.
Yeah. This.
Pretending to be Jesus with AI slop. That's the worst thing he's ever done.
Yeah. Yeah. And the most wonderful thing is that was inspired by his rage towards a real man of God, Pope Leo, the Pope, who's like, no, you're a piece of shit. And what did you think, Donald? Homie is from Chicago.
Literally, like Chicago, the Chicago people are like, they're not gonna take this lightly.
No.
I do love the first hardcore American Pope is literally like, no, Donald, shut the fuck up.
No, you're a piece of shit.
So, did you see today that JD Vance was like, the Pope should really stay in his lane?
Oh, okay. You change religions just as much as you changed your name, friend. So maybe you should shut the fuck up.
Wasn't he just there pontificating about how much he loved Catholicism and loved the Pope?
Yeah,
like literally, because remember he killed the Pope.
Yeah, because he killed the Pope, and he's got a book. Who knows if he actually is a Catholic, but he converted and has got a book. Everything is about him selling a book. And yeah, he's got a book, which is going to front load his presidential candidacy, presidential run. And so, yeah, he loves the Pope, but not now. Now he's got to stay in his. Says the guy who couldn't negotiate out of a paper bag in Islamabad. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you killed the first one that you met with. Then you got the first American Pope, and now you're telling him to stay in his lane. Maybe you should stay in your lane, JD. So this headline says, Trump doesn't seem to care about the GOP, and it's causing midterm concerns for the party. When did anybody ever think that Donald Trump actually gave a shit about anybody but Donald Trump? He don't give a fuck.
That sounds like a you problem, Republicans, because you all went primary after general election, and you kept voting him in. When other people were saying, he's kind of a piece of shit. And you're like, nah, he's different. He's an outsider. So it sounds like it's a you problem, and you should look inside and see what you did wrong here. Because you got us here. I mean, y'all could have, in that wonderful time after he got down the escalator, you could have said, you know what? Nope, not voting you in. Could have lost the primary. You could have had a bad bitch like Jeb Bush. But you didn't.
Bad bitch. Said no one ever.
Said no one. Maybe some of them now.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. So I love this headline on CNN though. And this leads us into our next segment. Trump is playing a dangerous game of chicken with Iran. Shall we? Let's go down the Iran rabbit hole.
Let's go down the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, let's talk about the Strait. See, where are we at with the Strait? Did we find the key? Because last week the Iranians tweeted at Donald Trump, "We lost the keys." Have we found the keys yet? / our Navy ships of ours somehow there, and what havoc is Donald Trump causing this week?
Apparently the blockade, the grand blockade, did not work.
Which side? Theirs actually worked.
Ours.
I don't think
Ours. Yeah, we've got some boats down there, but it didn't work because Iranian ships sure got through. And U.S. Central Command said during the first 24 hours, no ship made it past the U.S. blockade. But people that literally monitor this, because it's actually, what's interesting, it's public information. You can actually, you can monitor flights, you can monitor ships. And when you click on the thing, it tells you what's the flag it's carrying. And so people actually monitoring that, my mom does this actually, she monitors this shit in real time. And you can see,
she's got time.
Yeah, you can see how they're just going through, and they keep going, and they keep going. So CENTCOM lied, probably because they're afraid of getting bombed by President Trump themselves. But people are like, no, lots got through. There's this story from, I believe it's Reuters, says that at least 8 ships have made it through. A lot of people on the interwebs have been saying it can be more like 20 ships that should have been blockaded that sure weren't.
Of the ships that have made it through, though, are not carrying oil. So there's also that point. Like, there's still nothing going through that's oil related, and that's not on us. That's on Iran. Iran is still not letting the oil, because Iran is still like,
yeah, no, those were the ships carrying your Timu Corgi pencil holder. Yeah.
So Trump says, and again, this is Tuesday, so anything can change by Wednesday, Thursday. Trump hints U.S.-Iran talks could resume over the next 2 days. I ain't holding my breath. Are you?
No.
Sure.
No. Sure, Jen. Sure, Jen. You know, it's hilarious because back to
Sorry. This fucking image of him being the Christ, Jesus Christ, just came up. CNN.
God, what a piece of shit. Well,
I don't even know how you live in the timeline where you scroll down, and that's an image that the President of the United States posted to his fucking social media.
Now he's a
Red Cross worker.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Yep. That's why there's angels in the sky. What a fucking liar.
Yeah, what a piece of shit. But yeah, no, I don't believe it one bit that they're gonna resume talks. I mean, you were already having talks and you bombed them.
And then you got fucking Israelis going and bombing Lebanon when that was supposed to be part of the peace agreements, the ceasefire.
No,
and Benjamin,
they didn't know how.
Like, oh, that was. And they were
They
like,
didn't
yes,
know how to read
was.
English. What did Vance say? They didn't know. They didn't understand English. It was a problem in translate their reading of the plan.
Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't know how to read English.
No,
Okay.
the Pakistanis. You know, the Pakistanis.
Because it was the Pakistanis' fault. Yo, the dumbest timeline. This is. You better make that the title of this whole show. We live in the dumbest timeline. Because this show is nothing but stupid. After stupid, we're having a new arena. We have a president tweeting at the Pope. We've got dumbass motherfucking JD Vance out there negotiating with God knows who. The dumbest timeline, Maria.
The dumbest timelines. The dumbest timeline is looking at our timeline going, no.
So speaking of the dumbest timeline, would you like to know what our only Republican federal member of the delegation has to say about this? Would you like to know what Mark Amodei has to say about the whole thing?
What does Mark Pecon Punch Amodei have to say?
Pecon Punch. Mark Amodei, outgoing congressman for CD2, has to say, Amodei describes Trump's Iran war messaging as asleep at the communication switch.
It's asleep at a lot of switches.
I wouldn't call it asleep. I would say maybe on crack.
Yeah, on crack.
On crack at the communication switch. Maybe that's what I would describe it as. This is on the Nevada Independent. Amodei. The first thing, it's the DC download. I love this. DC download. Amodei addresses Trump's threat to destroy a civilization.
Right, yeah.
That's a real headline in the Nevada Independent. I recently spoke to Homeland Security Appropriations Cardinal Rep. Mark Amodei about the partial government shutdown. What didn't make it into that story was his reaction to the news of the week. Trump's threat that a, quote, whole civilization will die if Iran did not agree to a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a checkpoint for oil transit. This is Amodei's quote in the Nevada Independent. I think somebody was asleep at the communication switch when it was death to a civilization. Again, I don't think that's Mark. I think that's cocaine speaking. Amodei said last Friday, after two sides agreed to the ceasefire, death to a civilization is not synonymous with, we want to make sure you can never hurt somebody again. I don't think a sweeping term like civilization was at all appropriate way to communicate that we're really going to start blowing the rest of the stuff up.
No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah. He doesn't think that blowing up an entire civilization was appropriate. They were asleep at the communication switch.
That's all it was.
I want to know what sleeping pills they're giving Donald Trump if this isn't a sleep at the communication switch problem. Because those are some crazy ass sleeping pills.
Yeah, those are some cocaine sleeping pills laced with crystal. Wow.
Could you imagine? Like that is not a sleep. That is unhinged. Like,
yeah.
that is I don't know who you are. I don't care what party you represent. That is unhinged rhetoric and behavior.
Let me remind everyone, he threw rocks at a baby in a crib. Mark Picon Punch Amodei, I need you to listen to these words. He threw rocks at a baby in a crib.
So
he's been a piece of shit since he was a child.
This is how this article ends, because it's truly telling, especially since Mark Amodei is not coming back. He's not running for re-election. This is telling to me. For his part, Amodei spoke approvingly of the administration's military approach. He stressed the importance of taking away Iran's nuclear capabilities and making sure terrorists can't target America. You've gone this far, whether you should or shouldn't. You're fully committed now, and you need to stay fully committed, he said. And oh, by the way, you need to have enough control there to where you don't need to worry about these guys doing side deals or whatever to fund people that are basically like death to America culture. Still, asked if he has an understanding of what's next in Iran, the congressman said, no, absolutely none. I got as much on that as I do on the negotiations for funding Homeland. After that, I asked Amodei if he has any plans to see Trump when he visits Nevada this week. Nope, the congressman says. I think he's coming to Vegas. That's fine. Maybe some of the primary candidates in CD2 from Vegas will go down there and see if they can sneak on stage with him or something. This reporter. After that, I asked Amodei if he had any plans to see Trump when he visits Nevada this week. This is the most telling one. Said the congressman. I think he's coming to Vegas. That's fine. Maybe some of the primary candidates in CD2 from Vegas will go down there and see if they can sneak on stage with him or something.
There's some shady shit.
Shady ass shit.
Please write a book, Mark Amodei.
I mean, come on. If that's not telling about you're not included in the negotiations on Homeland Security funding, and you're the one of the ranking congressional members. You're the only Republican from Nevada. You're not included in those discussions, and it's disproportionately impacting Nevada. You're not included on any of the Homeland Security stuff that's going on here at home, and you're not included on any of the crazy ass war shit that's going on there, and you don't even know where he's going to be when he comes here. Tells me everything I need to know about why Mark Amodei is not running again.
Sounds like he did a whole fuck that realization.
Wouldn't you? I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to have to uphold and do the bidding of Donald Trump. That sounds horrible.
Yeah. Hell no.
Absolutely not. That sounds absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
So we'll put that.
Thank you.
We'll put that article in the chat about Mark Amodei, because again, from the Nevada Independent, it is enlightening. The whole thing is just fascinating. It's fascinating to read, and I think it gives insight as to some of the feelings around the Trump administration.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I think that leads us. I mean, there's a lot more we could talk about this week, but we're going to go to hot takes and headaches, and we're going to talk about why Annette Magnus can only do 55 minutes tonight as part of my headache. You want to know why, everyone? My toilet just flooded upstairs into my living room.
And owning a home.
I walked downstairs to get there Wednesday, because once again her father is traveling, and I heard a dripping sound coming from the roof in my living room. And I look down and my couch is wet. Why is the couch wet? It's coming out of the ceiling fan. What is above my ceiling fan downstairs? My toilet upstairs. It had overflowed from the top. Apparently one of the mechanisms probably failed and flooded my bathroom. Luckily not too bad. And it had just started to drip on the couch. So good looking out, karma. I got a cash in karma, guardian angels, whatever. Thank God Wednesday had to come up podcast because I caught the couch flooding.
Yep, that's good.
That's my headache for the week. What's yours?
My headache for the week is the fucking selling of the add-ons for when you're filing your taxes with like an H&R block or TurboTax or whatever. And they're like, are you sure you don't want this extension? Are you sure you don't want this extension for $65 more, for $35 more?
I filed an extension. I'm not filing my taxes tomorrow. I'll be filing them later. I didn't feel like giving Donald Trump any of my information yet.
That's right.
This year. I know I'm getting a refund, but I'm like, why should I rush? The government doesn't rush to give me anything. And normally I'm like right out of the gate, you know, I'm like one of those eager beavers. I was like, let me get it done. I've been busy. There's been things. My CPA filed my extension in February. I was like, you know what? I got an extension. I'm not going to stress about this. Donald Trump doesn't stress about his taxes. I'll get to it. Give me a month or so.
He doesn't even pay them.
And I don't even have to pay. They owe me money. Whatever.
About time.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's where I'm at. Happy tax day, everybody. Hope your tax day goes great this week. Or just be like, extension. Go fuck yourself, federal government.
Our money's gonna go to
Fund a war.
a sweeping blockade of the Strait of Hormuz.
Why am I in a rush to pay the government? What the fuck is the government doing for me right now? Nothing. Raising my gas prices. Just pay it, Maria.
Annette, that's not real. It's your governor's fault.
Okay, that's fine. But blame my governor. I don't like him either.
Yeah. And that whole thing about the tax thing, you know, that's not going to solve the real fucking problem because it's the price of oil that's the problem. Removing a fuel tax doesn't help. Yeah. Removing a fuel tax, all it does is, sure, give you some more money in your pocket, but it takes money from the state to be able to do things. But those people can't even spell, so.
I swear to God, do not read me another comment about voting rights. I swear to God. Y'all don't have any other dumb shit you want to talk about? You don't have anything else you want to debate on? You just want to debate on dumb things?
Hey, two of them talked guns. Come and talk guns with us.
You want voter ID? I want a gun registration. There we go. We can debate on that. How about those apples? Yeah, that's against the Constitution. You're going to infringe upon our rights. Okay, fine. Well, you're infringing upon our rights for voters.
Yeah. There was a guy with like 2 rifles in his profile picture. I didn't read his comment, but I'll say it now. That said, there are limits to every right. And I said, as a gun owner, I know that. With great rights come great responsibility.
Literally. No right, including ownership.
Well, Annette, take us out. Not literally.
You mentioned taking me out. I might take myself out. I'm there, Maria. It is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. Yeah, just a few more days to go.
What did I do to the universe?
Well, you allowed yourself to get brainwashed by...
I forgot.
By the voting paid protesters or whatever the people think are doing the brainwashing around your voting rights.
Hang on. Let's just see. Chani will tell me what's going on. Chani is my favorite astrologer. There's something going on today. Though. Let's see. Sagittarius. I'll read our horoscope today. That's how we'll go out. This is the perfect way. Show off your imagination. If you've been thinking about bringing more fun, creativity, or romance to your life, share what's on your wish list. I wish that my life would just calm down to be normal. And I didn't have toilet water leaking through a fan.
It's not going to happen. Pick another one. Pick another item on your wish
list.
So
it's because Mercury's in Aries and it wants you to express what excites you and unpack whatever's blocking you from going after what you want. Apparently my toilet was blocking me from going after
It went after what it wanted. Yeah.
It was like, fuck you, I'm flooded.
I want to flow free.
Leave me alone. Anyways, yeah, there is some sort of astro thing happening this week. I don't know. It's too much. Aries is a nightmare. My rising sign. Okay. Anyways, thanks everyone for joining us. It's been a real treat as usual. I am just a fucking delight this week. Thank you, Maria, for being flexible and co-hosting after a weird day. I hope you subscribe. I hope you send this to your friends and say, look how nuts these two people are. Make sure you check out your local candidates and see where they're raising their money from. And we'll see you next week for another delightful outing in what the fuck is going on in the world. Have a great week, everyone. Stay safe.
Bye.